Friends, welcome back to the podcast. This is Monday Fire episode number 85, where we're going to talk today about the difference between influence and being an influencer. If you have followed me for any length of time, you'll know I talk about lots of different ways that you can make money in the online space. One of them, of course, is if you're an influencer online, that allows you to have certain income streams that are available to you that maybe are, not available to others. You can work with brands. You're able to get if you got an audience to swipe up faster, people will, purchase the lip gloss that you're wearing or the home decor that you're showing in your stories, those sorts of things. And so we get a lot of people who come into my coaching group and they hope to be an influencer. And this is always an interesting topic to me. And I'm going to tell you some of the reasons why. So wanting to be like an influencer that gets paid, right, is something that actually you don't get to decide, because people decide whether or not you're an influencer in terms of you're getting paid for the influence that you're giving. Does that make sense? Like, you don't get to say, I would love to be like an influencer in the beauty space and in the makeup space and stuff, like, because the people that are following you will decide if they think that you are influencing them in that particular topic. Does that make sense? So it's very difficult for you to wake up and go, I want to be an influencer. I want to influence people in terms of like home decor. Like, that's what I want to do. Well, if that's actually what you're probably going to be doing, like, people will start already kind of coming to you for that. They will already be following you for that. You're already going to get some traction in that area. But I think that what confuses people is then sometimes I'll get people who come into my group and they're like, okay, Jennifer, I love Jesus and I just want to influence women. Like, I want to influence them to be full of joy. And I want to encourage them, to be all that God wants them to be. And then I'll start talking to them about, okay, so like, how is this a business? Because that should just part of who we should be as believers is influencing people for the kingdom of Christ, right? So like, we should be just spreading joy and encouragement and the good news. We should be being salt and light wherever we go, regardless of if the internet thinks we're an influencer. So you see how they're like two different things. They're one thing in the online space, but they're really quite another, like in terms of biblical things. If you're someone that's wanting to be an influencer, like for a job, I want to talk to you for just a nanosecond here, because the truth is the people are going to decide if you're an influencer. And in order for them to decide that you are, it usually is going to mean that you're going to have to perhaps separate yourself from the pack somehow. You're going to have to be a thought leader. Which means you're going to have thoughts. You're going to have some opinions on things, which may not be mainstream. They may not be the most popular opinion. When the rest of the world is zigging, you may decide to zag. And that kind of makes you an influencer. You may have a position or a style or a taste that kind of goes contrary to what everybody else is doing. And then a lot of times people will kind of flock to that and they'll position you as an influencer for business. But being an influencer and like getting paid for that, it does take some work and it does take some strategy. It's going to require that you start like building an audience and standing for some things, which is also going to mean that you won't be for everyone. And sometimes this is a really hard concept for especially women who love Jesus to accept, that because when you're for everyone, you're for no one. And so sometimes we think, but I love the Lord, I'm really kind and I'm really sweet and I take the middle ground and I don't, veer off one way or the other. And that's lovely, but that probably won't necessarily make you into an influencer if that's what you're hoping to do. Because usually it's going to require that you kind of stand up for some things and then you get known for some things. And that will probably also mean that when you get known for something that you might not be for everyone anymore. And let me give you like just a random example. Okay. Random example. When the whole world loved Farmhouse, I never loved Farmhouse. I love Joanna and Chip. Like, I've met them 4 times. I love them as human beings. I love their show, but I'm not a Farmhouse girl. If you're watching me on YouTube right now, you can see all the color in my office. Like, that is not me. And so that is one way I got a lot of people to follow my blog. It wasn't like I was trying to be different, but it just, and so I became kind of an influencer in that space just because I liked something different than what a lot of people did. But becoming an influencer, it doesn't mean like you're just posting random things all of the time. That's not going to work. And you're going to have to actually like build a platform But it's going to have to be based on something other than just like hope and encouragement, because that's good, right? But that's what we should be doing as believers. And so you're going to need an actual like product or service, an actual shortcut or a win, an actual framework of some kind or tangible something that you're going to actually sell in order for your influence to actually be a business. And I think sometimes that's hard for people to wrap their head around. They're like, well, I just want to encourage women. Well, there's lots of ways that people encourage women, and most of those are not, very monetizable. We should just be doing that because we're decent human beings. We should double be doing that if we love the Lord, right? So you're going to need a business. You're going to need kind of like a plan. And if you're wanting to be an influencer, we've got to figure out like the angle of influence, or what you're going to influence people in, or, in what way are you going to influence them? What platform are you going to influence on? And by the way, I've gotten so many DMs this week on, what do you think about social media right now? And all the this and all the that, like, do you think we should continue trying to build a business here? And this is what I say to people. Look, if all of the believers like pick up their toys and go to another sandbox, like who's left to kind of take a stand? The Bible talks about how we're to go into the nations and make disciples of all men. Well, where are all the men at? Where are not physical men, not women too, is what I'm trying to say, but they're on social media. They're on social media. And so if you're someone who's like, gosh, Jen, I want to have influence. I want to have a business that influences people. I want to figure out what I could sell that really influences women, that really helps them to find their joy, their passion. I want to really encourage women to be all that God wants them to be. Like, I want to influence them in that way. I want to be an online influencer. I want you to sign up today. Go right now. We're literally starting today on Monday. Go to jenniferallwood.com/dream, because that's one of the things I'm working out with a whole group of people on a 5-day boot camp this week. It's your Dream Biz boot camp. It's helping people figure out like, what is their business actually going to be? What are they actually going to sell? Is that an actual sellable thing? Is it actually going to make them some money? And then where are you going to go sell it at? So I want to help you. By the way, if you're someone who's stuck in corporate America, you're listening to this podcast on your drive into work on Monday morning, thinking, gosh, you'd rather like stab yourself in the foot with a fork than go to another day in the office. Listen, you can watch the videos like later in the week. You don't have to be there present every day this week. There will be replays available for you. So you go grab it too. Go to jenniferallwood.com/stream, because some of you are designed for influence, and we're all supposed to be influencing, but I'm talking about being an online influencer, getting actually paid for your influence because you have a great product or service. Like, I want to help you do that. I want to help you bring your gift to the world. So I want to see you inside of this boot camp, jenniferallwood.com/dream. I'm going to see you there, sis. Okay. Bye-bye.